I see so many golfers have back pain, but they don't want to believe it's actually golf that's causing the back pain. Look, we all love golf. We want to deny it, but there's a lot of pressure on the spine when we play golf, especially if you're somebody that doesn't have good hip and thoracic spine mobility. What do I mean by that? Well, the hips and the thoracic spine have to be mobile, meaning shoulder turn and its actual hip rotation, okay? If they're not rotating, what has to happen is the lumbar spine is going to have to pick up that rotation. Lumbar spine doesn't like to rotate, and it absolutely doesn't like lateral bending. That puts a lot of pressure on the back. So when we lose hip mobility and thoracic mobility, the pelvis has to pick that up. And then what happens is it throws our spine angle off. So if we get into our setup posture, we're tilted away from the target. Well, when the hips and the thoracic spine are tight, what happens in the backswing is that we start to go this way. You can see I'm starting to tilt that way. If my hip joint and my thoracic spine aren't working, the pelvis is going to tend to want to turn and extend, forcing the head back this way. And what this is going to do is it's going to start to put a lot of pressure right down here on my low back. Now, if you think about that from the backswing, as I start my downswing, now I have to bend a lot to the right to compensate. And what's going to happen is I'm going to put a ton of pressure in that low back. When the hips can rotate and the thoracic spine can rotate, then it's much easier to maintain that spine angle, and you can see there's no lateral pressure in my spine. So two ways to check if you have adequate hip mobility and thoracic mobility is pretty simple. You want to lay one golf club down on the ground, and then you're going to use a 6-iron. That the lie angle of the 6-iron is going to give you about the right amount of degrees that you're going to need to rotate. So what we do is we put the 1 foot, so I'm going to test my right foot here. So my right foot's on the ground, my left foot's up. There's practically no weight in my left foot. It's just letting me bounce. Now I like to use an alignment rod because I want you to slide it through your belt loops. Because a lot of times when we do this test and I test people, they turn and their hips peel away from the stick. Well, that stick has to stay against the pelvis. And what we're going to do is we're going to check your hip rotation. So when you turn, this foot should stay flat on the ground. And when we turn, we should be able to get this alignment stick in line with that 6-iron. That's going to give us adequate hip mobility to allow us to make that turn and stay in posture. So you're going to check both sides, see how your hip mobility is. Then I want you to check your thoracic spine. So what you're going to do is you're going to just kneel directly over top of this golf club here, so your shoulders are in line with this bottom golf club. And you're going to take the alignment stick, bring it around your back, hands are going to go on your stomach, and you're going to turn as much as you can. And as you turn, we don't want this knee to kick out. If this knee kicks out, that doesn't count, because what we're doing is we're locking that lumbar spine out and just checking our thoracic mobility. So as we turn, again, we should turn and be in line with that 6-iron without this leg moving. And some of you may find that it's even hard to even stabilize there, so that brings us into another problem. But that's two easy ways to check to see if you have adequate mobility in the hips and the thoracic spine. If you don't, odds are it's going to tilt that spine angle a little too much, which is going to create a lot of pressure and pain. So for more information, you can click on the link below and you can set up an appointment, and I'll do a TPI screening with you to assess those things. Or you can join us for our Monday night classes. They're going to start October 23rd, Monday night at 6 o'clock. I'm going to go through all this stuff, all the mobility, all the stretching, and we're going to get you in shape for next season.